If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Good morning, folks. That was Shane Pierce. We're going to talk about him after the commercial break. Him and his family was murdered in 2016. Sandra, if you want to.
Yeah, welcome to the K-Files this morning, sponsored by Statewide Insurance Group and Barnes Safety and Consulting. And we have a special guest with us this morning, Chief Deputy Brandon Medina.
Good
so
morning.
Glad to have you back.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Yes,
I think
sir.
you saw him on another show recently that we just had, so we're always glad to have you back. Got a lot to talk about this morning.
We do.
We do. First off, y'all are helping the Halifax County Sheriff's Office look for these two missing men right here. I think, well, we got a picture of them. There we go.
There we go.
Brandon Lynch and Howard Hill, I mean, briefly, if you can tell us.
Right. So the Nash County Sheriff's Office has taken lead on this case based on some information that we have. We have them being actually reported missing out of Hollister area, and we have had some accounts of them possibly being here and then being seen back in Halifax County. So we have taken lead on it and working several leads that we have received through social media and through anonymous tips. Definitely appreciate those. We try to follow up on everything that we hear, and those lead us to additional information. Obviously, if you look on our social media and on your page and other local media outlets, we have the description of the vehicle that they've been seen in. It's a yellow vehicle. If you can, you just saw it a few minutes ago on the screen. But obviously, if you see anything, you can call 977-1111. That's the Twin Counties Crime Stoppers. You can call 911. It's actually a 2008 yellow Chevy Cobalt. You saw the license plate registration there. We're asking if anybody's aware of their whereabouts to definitely give us a call so we can follow up and make sure that they're safe, and then report them back to their family and let them know their status.
Well, I would say, Chief Deputy Medina, that people would look and say, well, they're adults.
Right.
But
so
you're trying to just make sure they're safe.
yeah, we follow up on all missing reports, making sure that they're, obviously well and not injured or maybe in a hospital. So I mean, we
Right.
followed up on a lot of leads, and sometimes it could be that they just wanted a break and just wanted to go somewhere else. But we got to follow up on leads because you have family members
Yeah.
and friends and co-workers that want to know the status of the especially when it's two people like that.
Absolutely.
So we will always follow up on any type of missing person to make sure that their welfare is accounted for.
And you'll say, like all other law enforcement does say, you would reiterate, I believe, the public input in any case is so important. The public is so important.
It's definitely, they're an extension of law enforcement because there are extra eyes and ears, kind of a force multiplier. Sometimes officers can't be everywhere, deputies can't be everywhere. And
Right.
sometimes somebody driving by and seeing something suspicious and calling it in usually helps out the situation. So if you see something that's out of place, or if you see a vehicle or you heard something, we encourage you to call us. Like I said, you can call the 911 regardless of where you are, and then it'll get put to us, and then
Sure.
we can follow up on the information.
Brittany, show that other poster. This is from the Aware Foundation. I work with them sometimes. They do a lot of good work out of Virginia, but they cover a lot of ground. And so, I mean, if they're posting these posters, then something serious. I mean, this guy's been missing for a week.
Yeah, since May 25th.
Yeah.
That's obviously a kind of a considerable long time. But we have seen things where people have been gone for 30 days and pop up somewhere across the country.
Myrtle Beach.
So definitely we're still following up on leads, and definitely call us if you have any information.
Appreciate that. Okay, so on to something a little bit more positive. Cover the Cruiser.
Cover the Cruiser. So, as you know, we just posted not too long ago, one of our employees, Deputy Elizabeth Cahoon, she is working
She's
along
at the Big
with...
Dog.
Yeah, she's at the local radio station there. She was there last Friday promoting the Special Olympics of North Carolina. And one of the events that we are also sponsoring actually happens in 2 days. So Saturday, you can come out to Smith's Red and White in Dorchester between 10 and 2. And we'll have these little business cards that are about the size of a cell phone. And you can make any type of monetary donation. 100% of it goes to Special Olympics. And our goal is to cover her patrol car with... how you go to those stores and they say, I've donated this and I've donated that.
They've got the little...
Yes, so you can put your name, you can put, whatever message you want for the Special Olympics. It's definitely important that, we try to support that. We used to support it many years ago, and we just got back into it this year, and we had a good turnout with deputies that showed up and went to Wake County and ran, and very good and healthy participation. And all the proceeds, they help out Special Olympic athletes here in North Carolina, and the monetary proceeds help them to buy uniforms and equipment for them to participate in their specific sport, and just to enable them to have a good time. And it's definitely a worthwhile event. So even though this is our first year, from this point forward we'll probably be supporting it, and come out Saturday morning at 10 to 2.
10 to 2, yes, sir. Smith's Red and White is
Smith's Red and White.
3635 North Halifax Road. I think most people in this area know where that is.
Yeah, they call it Dorchester, which is still Dorchester, but
Yeah.
it's some places show it as Rocky Mount, which is fine. But yeah, come on out Saturday before you get into your day, and come out and check us out, and visit the local stores there in the area and support a good cause.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you came and talked to us about
yeah,
that, because I'm
definitely.
going to go out there Saturday myself and see what I can do.
We were talking about bears and cows before.
Yeah, we want to hear about
So-
the little
An
bear.
eventful week for your guys.
Yeah,
right?
so this has been a real, not an ordinary week for us with wildlife. The first story was kind of sad, definitely, because we kind of stepped into nature and started building, and so obviously population.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually had it appeared to be at least a year-old bear cub or young bear, and it was hit by a vehicle on 64 a couple of days ago. I would say Tuesday.
Didn't it tear their car up?
It tore the vehicle up, and obviously, unfortunately, the bear succumbed to its injuries. We had to call wildlife to come out and help us with that case. And a couple hours later, a couple of our deputies were trying to wrangle a calf that got out of a barbed wire. So that was real interesting. We were able to get some good exercise again, and chase the calf up and down the road.
A few years
Yeah,
ago,
you never know what's coming,
Never. You never know what today's going to bring.
which
yeah,
is
you
interesting.
could go from wrangling calves to getting shot at, like in Wake County.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We're definitely praying now for that deputy
Exactly.
and the family.
You never know.
It's usually a process that usually you get people to come out, but unfortunately that situation turned the way it turned out, and hopefully we're keeping him and the family.
Sure.
A few years ago
Absolutely.
on Macedonia Road, you know where that's at?
I've heard that.
I was going down. I had picked my son up from his girlfriend's house, and we were going home, and it was late at night. And I'm just going down the road, and all of a sudden my son starts screaming, "Stop! Stop! Stop!" And so when I'm driving and someone yells stop like that, I stop. And when I did, there was a bull standing in the road, and his horns was, it must have
Wow.
been 12 feet. It was huge. It was a longhorn.
Texas Longhorn.
Yeah, and and he was just standing in the middle of the road looking at me.
He's
and
like, why are you in my way?
Yeah, so I called the highway patrol, and the guy came out, and they helped usher. They helped the bull get back. I don't know if they found out where he was, but they got him off the road anyway. And the guy said it happens a lot more than people think.
Yeah, so the most common ones that we have is horses getting out, and then cows getting out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's specific areas that this occurs, and we already know who to
Horses
contact.
Yes,
horses are really bad, right? Because since they sit so high up, when you hit a horse, it almost always comes through the windshield.
More than
instead of,
likely, that's right.
I remember that from like some boot camp video or something I had to watch in the Navy. But if you hit a horse because of his legs, the way the anatomy of the horse, they almost always go through the windshield. So.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask why our patrol vehicles have push bars, and they're really to protect the deputy in the vehicle, because we normally, what's the most common animal we see out in the road looking at us as we
Right.
drive by? A deer, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So deers out here are very prevalent, and depending on the season, you'll see more of them out in the road, and that's why we use those push bars to make
Right.
sure that.
That's one of those seasonal stories I write. Seems like I write every year for the newspaper about
yeah.
when the time changes. People are out earlier or later or
Right.
whatever, and the deer are out there everywhere.
Right.
Deers are small. They seem like they're stupid animals, but they're really not. I went spotlighting one time in Pennsylvania. It was illegal, but I was young. And I didn't shoot none of them. I was just, and it was, like you go down the road and there's nothing. And then you pass a sign that says, "Welcome to such and such National Forest," where you can't shoot anything.
Right.
And there's like 30 deer standing there.
Looking at you.
Yeah, so I swear they knew where to
They
hang
should
out
have
at.
deer crossing.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
there's a turtle crossing up on 581. I don't know if the folks put there. I don't know if it's a joke or what, but there's a. It looks pretty cool. I haven't seen a turtle there.
I hadn't seen a turtle either, but yeah, there was.
My wife will make me stop if we see a turtle or something in the road. we gotta stop.
You can't run over the turtle.
Yeah, I either try to move around them, or if they're like right in depending on the traffic, I'll try to not get bit
Right.
without moving
Yeah.
over. So.
Right. Always get a stick. You don't put your hands on the turtle. I don't
don't.
recommend that, but get a
I've been
stick
grabbing-
and
I've
get them
grabbed
off the road.
Wash your
you know.
hands. All you gotta do. We should be used to that. Wash your
They'll
hands.
bite you.
No. It's like one of the slowest moving animals in the world, Sandra. I think you
They
move
have
around to the
teeth.
back
They
of
will
it.
bite you. They will snap.
yeah. If
you
There
put
are
your hand in
snapping
there-
turtles.
Yeah, if you put your hand in their mouth, they will.
But this is all to say that law enforcement, you never know what they're going to have to do. I saw 2 days ago, Nash County Sheriff deputy close to Nash Community College changing a tire. God bless the law enforcement. That's all I got to say. They just do it all. So
Yeah, we try to usually check on people that are stranded, make sure they're fine, or if they have somebody come in, and if it's like a tire and
Right.
we can change it and they have the tools or we
Yeah.
have the tools, we'll go ahead and change it
Yeah.
for them. I mean, it's just, it's a courtesy, and they're using our roads, and
Yeah.
just try to make sure that they're safe, and we usually go from there.
that's right. Well, Brandon, I enjoyed you being on this morning. I thank you for coming. And
Appreciate you.
let's mention one more time your event.
So tomorrow, Saturday morning is Cover the Cruiser. It's a benefit. 100% of the proceeds go to the Special Olympics in North Carolina.
Now tell people, Special Olympics, what exactly?
So Special Olympics is an event that they hold in all of the states,
Right.
nationwide, and it's a sporting event for people with disabilities,
Right.
ranging from physical or mental, and they have the opportunity to participate in a sport that they enjoy.
Right.
And the fundraising that we do allows funding to buy equipment for them, uniforms, and ability to participate in those events throughout the year. So it's not just
Right.
one time. We'll probably have some additional ones, but this is our first year sponsoring it and participating in it and trying to raise some money and some awareness for Special Olympics. So definitely come out Saturday morning if you can to Smith's Red and White.
Absolutely.
And
10 to 2.
If people haven't been to Smith's before, that's
Oh,
a treat
gosh.
in and of itself. The candy
Yes.
and all. I mean, that was
Yes.
one of the first places when we got here. I think 7 years ago. That was one of the first places that we hit up, was because we'd heard. I mean,
they're
you
great.
hear a lot about it, and I mean, it's a very unique grocery store.
And not to mention, if they come out, the restaurant, they
restaurant.
can
Right
eat,
about that, too.
they
Yeah,
can eat
really-
breakfast Saturday morning,
Get
eat
some red-eye
breakfast,
gravy.
come out there. Yeah, you better believe it. And then come out and make your donation.
And have fun
So-
and, participate and get your picture on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back, folks, right after this.
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Welcome back.
Hey, folks, I want to show y'all a picture of, this is Nikki Privet, Shane Pierce, Shelby Smith, and Tammy Pierce, right? Okay, so from left to right, that's Nikki Privet, Shane Pierce, Selby, I always try to put the H in there, Shelby Smith, and Tammy Pierce. Now, Shane and Tammy are mother and son, right? And then that's their significant others. So Nikki is Shane's fiance, and Selby is Tammy's boyfriend. They live together. Okay?
And they have heard about this before.
Right, we talked about it.
Last week.
We talked about it last week and the week before.
Yes.
So on Christmas Eve 2016 on East Banks in Wilson, right, they were all killed in their home, all four of them. Right, so Fighting Crime was on the show last week. We got to talking about the case. She gave me the autopsies and the death investigation reports that she's got. I mean, she's been covering this case since it happened 5 years, almost, well, more than 4 years ago, right? So she had all that on me, saved me a couple steps. So I spent the week looking over those autopsies and looking at the death investigations. So I wanted to give people an idea of a clearer picture of what happened in this house on Christmas Eve 2016. So folks, this is
Well, a quadruple homicide is pretty bad.
yeah, there's only been 2 since I've been here. This would be this one and the one up in what, Elm, not up in near Halifax.
Yeah.
The guy that had the gunsmith and his family that was killed up there.
And the bad thing, you said they were all shot in the head.
Yeah. Well, thanks for spoiling the.
Well,
Absolutely, Sandra. That was great.
You said.
Well, yeah. I didn't say it today yet. Okay, so you're right though. They're all shot in the head, and I want folks to see what that that means, right? Okay, so Nikki was killed in the living room, right? Here's her entry and exit wound. She was shot twice in the side of the neck. Now she was shot multiple other times in her body as well, but I mean, there's from her autopsy, the entry wounds are circles and the exit wounds are triangles. So she's shot twice in the side of the head right there. Okay, so and she was in the living room. Okay, so here is here's Shane. He was killed in the kitchen.
Okay.
And Brittany, I'm sorry I did him out of order. I'm sorry about that. But she got it right because she's always on the ball. Okay, so Shane was killed in the kitchen, right?
Okay.
His entry and exit wounds, you can see shot right in the back of the neck, execution style, and then it come out the side.
So they were not asleep in their beds.
Well, there was some sort of my mother used to call them pallets, but some sort of mattress type thing on the living room floor.
Well, but he was in the kitchen.
I know, we'll get to that, but you're right. No, you're right. He was killed in the kitchen.
Right.
She was killed in the living room where there was some sort of mattress made up.
And I understand, like a pallet on the floor.
Okay, so you're right. So yeah, keep asking the questions because you're definitely on the right track. Okay, so Selby was killed in the bathroom, right? And he was shot once in the head. Clean and clinical, one in, one out, right? And he had fallen down and was the autopsy said, or the death investigation said, it was hard to get into the bathroom door because he had fallen and blocked the door. So well, I want to get through all of them before I talk about it. And then Tammy was killed in the bedroom, in her bedroom, right? And she was 2 bullets to the side of the head, bam, bam, right?
So if you shoot somebody in the head,
right?
I mean, you're shooting to kill.
Yes, absolutely. This was an execution.
Not shooting to wound.
Right. This was not a based on the evidence in the death investigation. Whenever someone is murdered or dies under suspicious circumstances, it generates 3 reports. The first one is the autopsy.
Right.
Well, actually, the first one's the death investigation.
Right.
And that's where a medical examiner goes to the crime scene. In North Carolina, they're required to go to the crime scene,
right.
and they report on what they see and what's apparent at the crime scene. The second one is the autopsy. Now, sometimes it could be the same medical examiner who does the death investigation and the autopsy, but it doesn't have to be, and it's not always the case.
Right.
But the autopsy, everybody knows what an autopsy is.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Okay, and then the third is the toxicology reports that say, what was in the person's system. Was it alcohol? Was there drugs involved? That kind of thing.
Right.
So there's 3 reports. And so based on these 3 reports, when you look at it, these folks were executed. This wasn't like a random home invasion. This wasn't like a random burglary, right?
How many times was each one shot?
They were just, Selby was shot once in the head. He was in the bathroom. Tammy was shot twice in the head in the bedroom. Shane was shot once in the back of the head. in the kitchen. And then Nikki was shot 9 times or so.
That's what I'm getting at.
Right. So 4 victims, 4 different rooms, right? So I mean, I don't want to speculate too much on when I say they, we'll get to why I say they in a minute. You know,
But there has to be some big time something between the Nikki and him, because you don't shoot somebody 9 times.
I know, but okay, so 2 things happened. 1 or 2 things happened, right? When the assailants showed up, they either took people to separate rooms. Well, actually 3 things. They either took people to separate rooms, they either caught them in separate rooms, or they chased them to separate rooms.
Right.
I mean, that's really the only 3 possibilities, right? So when it's at 1 in the morning, because neighbors reported afterwards, they reported hearing gunshots about 1 in the morning.
1 in the morning.
Sadly, family didn't find the Pierces and their significant others till 12 hours later. On Christmas Day, they didn't hear from them, and they went over to the house and they found them. So they had been there for 12 hours. So when this happens, you either they either, like I said, they either caught them in separate rooms, which means that Selby was in the bathroom. You know, although at 1 in the morning on Christmas Eve, I don't know. It seems like they would all be asleep.
Yeah, it does.
And then so they either caught them in separate rooms, they took them to separate rooms, or they chased them to separate rooms, right? And so, you know, the speculation can run wild with that. I mean, Shane was shot once in the back of the head. I mean, that's an execution. That's almost like get on your knees,
right,
kind of thing, you know, that, you know, and then all of them were shot in the head. I mean, you know, now, I'm not exactly sure. In the report, it talks about there's a bullet hole through the bathroom door. So I don't know if they shot once and struck him, one shot through the bathroom door, or whether they shot through the bathroom door and then they shot him after that. You know, but you're right. There's definitely overkill with Nikki.
Yes. Shot
that many times. So, you know, was she shot first and the other people scattered and then they chased them down? I mean, you know, I guess we won't know until law enforcement makes an arrest. They made 1 arrest in the case. They released the guy for lack of evidence. Actually, what had happened is they say that witnesses and everything backed out and people are...
but they got scared, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 4 people...
Yes.
Executed gangland style. I mean, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the reason why I keep saying they is, Brittany, I forgot what I labeled this, but if you put up the thing with the, okay, so you see right there that they were killed with 9mm and with a 380.
2 different guns.
2 different guns, right? So, I mean, that's either 2 different people, or that's one guy shooting 2 guns.
I was going to ask you, how many people did they think?
Well, I mean, I don't know what law enforcement thinks, but I mean, with two guns and 4 people, I mean, I would think there were 2 people.
2 people.
At least 2 people. I mean, you know, that makes the sense to me. Now, the autopsy wasn't exactly clear which bullets killed which people. They probably didn't know that at the time. I mean, that involves ballistics and a whole other group of forensic tests and studies, but you know, I mean, well, Arkham's razor says that the easiest explanation is usually correct, right? So I mean, it seems to me like 2 folks hit the house, they split up. You know, 2 of them take care of the people in the bedroom, the bathroom. The other guy takes care of the people in the living room and the kitchen.
Right.
You know, but I don't know. The family reached out to us and asked us to do this, right? So that's why we're talking about this case so much. The grandmother, there were other family members who've been talking to Fighting Crime and then myself over the last year or so, but the grandmother contacted us and asked us to do this. So, you know, that's why.
Oh yeah, when a family member contacts us, we're going to try our best to, because that's what this is all about anyway, is closure for these families. So, anyway, if anybody knows anything, 406-6736. It is anonymous, people. You don't have to be afraid because it is anonymous.
And there is
we do pay out.
Yeah, up to $15,000.
And the last case we paid on, the person had their money the next morning.
Right.
After they called. Now, that's pretty good.
Yes,
we handed them a
absolutely.
check the next morning. So we do pay out and quickly.
And it's the governor's office has also issued a reward in this case for $20,000. So I mean, we're talking up to $35,000. So.
And somebody knows something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would be a good payday for somebody. You call.
Absolutely.
We don't know who you are. You give the information. The information is turned over to law enforcement. We never know what the information is.
Right.
The information goes to law enforcement, and then they take the appropriate action. So again, I've got some information. I interviewed the grandma. I'll talk about that next week. Hopefully we can. She's expressed interest in being on the show, so we'll see how that goes. We might have to videotape it in Wilson, and then show it here. I don't know how that's going to work.
Right.
But this is something that the.
I'd be very interested in talking to the grandmother.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a very interesting show.
The family, as the Pierce family's not going to give this up. So that they're
Right.
going to. I've talked about it whenever I talk to folks or whatever, give speeches or whatever they're called. The thing that I always say is that the cases that over the last 20 years, the cases that I've been involved with, the ones that get solved are the ones where the families refuse to give up. So the Pierce family's in this for the long haul.
Well, I don't blame them. I mean, this is her granddaughter and her daughter.
No, it's her daughter and her son.
Her daughter and
grandson.
her grandson.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Grandson
she's
and daughter.
hurting. And she's hurting. So, and she, she's been. We talked about Christmas, and every Christmas Christmas time is usually. For most people, Christmas time is a time to be happy in the holiday season and the holiday spirit and all of that stuff. But for them, it's just a reminder every year that on Christmas Eve, they went to bed Christmas Eve with a daughter and a grandson, and she woke up Christmas morning without both of them. So, and Selby too. I mean, he was a big part of the family, So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, tell them the number again.
406-6736, 406-6736 is the hotline number.
Without my
So,
eyeballs.
if you feel led, please call that number. It's very important. I know there's somebody out there that knows something, so please call. Again, it is anonymous and we do pay out.
Absolutely.
So, we got to go to break.
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back.
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.